Howdy. I don't have a song for you. I'm sorry. I've been singing a lot lately. And the funny thing is like, I think at the advanced age of too late, I've figured out how to sing. And I think I could never sing before because my voice is super deep. And, you know, I'm trying to think of an old, group from the 50s where I would be the baritone guy in it, you know? So I was always trying to sing in registers where my voice didn't belong. And I also figured out I can't sing in the same manner that other people sing, like, with the same cadence or whatever singing phrases they have, enunciation or whatever. That's very weird. It's like, obviously, no great shakes as a singer, but I could actually sing and it not be horrible, which come as a shock to me. Now, I if I appear like clearer than I did, less cloudy, less like you're looking at me in a crystal ball than the last video, that's because somehow I got tape on the lens to the camera and I took a little alcohol and swabbed it down. So now you can see me all frighteningly clearly. I don't know. All these injuries I get, I don't even know where I get them from. And the shark gill things, they all turned into bruises. They went from, they probably won't show up on camera, but they all turned from like burns to bruises. Well, I guess I could try to see if they show up on camera. Uh, yeah, there you go. See how the bruises now from where I fell. And yeah, but yeah, I don't never do this, but um, I just took 30 milligrams of Valium. So I may be getting very sleepy or very stupid or both within 35 to 50 minutes. But my tooth is hurt. These things are hurting me, and the tramadol, the person that gave me that came through, but it wasn't as much tramadol as I was expecting. And it's an every 4 hour pill, so it's a 2 day supply. And I have 5 codeine, so who knows? They might hook me up on Wednesday, which it's gonna come up frighteningly soon because it is Monday night at 8:30, and I'm gonna be in a chair at 2 p.m. on Wednesday, and yeah, mm. But it's got to happen, and um, I don't know. Would that be gross if I did that? If I showed you where the cavity and the incisor is? I don't know. Let's find out. See that right there? It's right at the base, and one day I was eating, I don't remember how long ago, and it just like a piece of tooth come off, and I was like, one of their fillings flaked off or something. But yeah, that some bitch starting to hurt. I should even just poking around a little bit there, starting to hurt. And the other teeth that gotta go are like right here. These two, this one. and this one. Now, I imagine that's pretty gross, but um, take care of your teeth. What can I tell you? I think, honestly, I was really pissed off because I told you I called my boy in Florida who didn't go to the dentist for 30 years. And don't tell me how this is possible. I don't know. But, he actually waited until his appendix burst. He's the guy that, like, his dad was like, you just want to get out of school. Quit bending over double, and then his appendix ended up bursting because he had such a high tolerance for pain. So he just couldn't eat anymore because, and then finally um, they drug his ass to the dentist, and his boss actually loaned him some money to go to a decent dentist. And they took out, he said, well, I said, like, how many of your teeth did they take out? And he was like, 8. And I'm like, yeah. The motherfucker was counting his wisdom teeth. You don't count your wisdom teeth. They always find an excuse to pull those, at least back in the day. They just pulled them for being smartasses and calling themselves wisdom, calling themselves wise. It's like the dude did not go to the dentist for 30 years and only lost 4 teeth. He lost all his lower teeth right here. He can still eat corn on the cob. He still has, a full bite on both sides of his face. I'm missing 3 teeth on the top over here. All my teeth on the bottom over here. And like counting the wisdom teeth, that means I'm missing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and Wednesday it will be 14. So I'll be missing, I'll have 14 teeth left out of 32 if you want to count the wisdom teeth. I'm like, the dude never took care of himself worth a damn. It's like, I watched the guy grow up, and he never took care of himself. He never showered, never like took care of himself. He was living in deplorable conditions. He barely, maybe that's it. He barely had anything to eat. But I think it's a genetic thing, frankly, because I went to the dentist hundreds of times, and this dude is beating me by double in teeth. How is that fair? That don't make no sense. You can see some of the chipping on the top of my teeth too, against the shadow of the cave of the winds. This cavernous thing in my face, which seems to never stop having noise emanate from it. But trying to be in a good mood about the whole thing. I'm trying to be optimistic because that's really all you can do. But the reason why this is a big deal, it occurs to me that maybe like people don't understand why this might be a big deal. The few people that have been watching this sorry spectacle is I got like arrhythmia, and I had, of course, my heart shocked on the 13th of last month. And so, like, I'm going to be thinking about that. I'm going to, thinking about, like, I'm still, after a while, it takes a couple months for you to be, I can't remember my last heart fuck up, which is a good thing. Today I thought I felt a little weird, but I was like, I don't think that's arrhythmia. I think that's something else going on. Because I can tell arrhythmia pretty good. But I had that moment where I'm like, uh-oh. I had a uh-oh moment today. But I haven't had any issues for like a while, but I'm going to be under enormous amounts of stress and later enormous amounts of pain. And then I gotta look up Xarelto and see how long that takes to get out of your system. But I mean, it's been since the 3rd of October since I took Xarelto. So we're talking about 27 days. I should be cool as far as, the bleeding involved when they pull those out. Um, yeah, but that's why it's a big deal. It's like, and then I got the allodynia, which is the make that makes it's like a pain amplifier, like I said before. That's why I don't wear a shirt. It's like um, it causes like ridging of the fingernails and stuff, and it's I think it's a really a full body thing. The severe symptoms like the allodynia anyway, it stops like right here, and then from there down, it's just utter chaos. Um, but I think it goes further up really because my left, I could punch you with my left hand and you'd still be standing. But if I punched you with my right hand, unless you have a hell of a chin, man, you're going down. So it's really left side oriented. I can feel the difference in strength in between my left side and my right side. And um, yeah, so I don't know if that's makes my teeth hurt worse or not. I don't know. Just another thing that float around my brain and mess with me. And this isn't by no means going to be the end of this. This is going to be like dental appointment after dental appointment after dental appointment. There will be other extractions, no doubt. You know, it's like um, I can see issues using a little dental mirror around here. This lone uh, molar I have left here that's important as far as that she's like, well, that'll make a good anchor for your partial plate. And I'm like, that tooth should be pulled. And then you just put it like a silver cap over top of it. But, anyways, um, yeah, I wanted my niece to uh, help me get the rent money together because I canceled. They always send me that aid I don't like. I could send her to get rent money for me, but I don't like her. I'm sorry, I just don't like her. I don't trust her, and I know she's a clock milker, and I know she doesn't care about me in a human type of way. In other words, like I gotta get my hours in. I don't give a damn if this some bitch ain't slept all night. I'm gonna get my hours in. And I'd be glad to be like, what are your hours? Here's your money. But then I'd be like, unless you got a rapport, a trust, then there's worried about like she took money from me, fire her ass, and they're worried about her losing her job. So, anyways, I don't want her. I don't want her in my house. I don't want her around. So I just called the agency up and said, nobody. I don't see nobody this week. Now, the rent technically is due on the 1st. That happens to be when I get paid, but usually I get paid on the 3rd. So, I'll have time, depending upon how bad my face is, I'll have time that, I got a couple of people I can ask for help yet that where I can be like, man, can you, my niece was in here she was in here so quick, that I did not get a chance to even pay her back her $65. She's like, I gotta go, gone, young and fast. I was like, what, bad, but, gone, because I just left the door open for her. And I was talking to my brother, and he got cement in his eye. I was like, ooh, man. He's like, I got cocky. He said I had a little bit left to do because he was cementing over the hole where, he just got his well fixed. So he just got his water put in. You may have remembered me mentioning that he didn't have water for years. And so he has like a grate, like a metal, like wire type thing, mesh to hold up the cement. And it's bendy though, so he only had this little corner to do. So he got cocky and he left the goggles off. He said my goggles were all scratched up and they're hard to see through and they're irritating. And I should be buying new ones anyway. But he said he left them down. And of course, he put the cement on the wire grate and it flipped up and hit him in the eye. And I was like, oh man. And he's like, yeah. He's got an extremely high pain tolerance. Hasn't been to the dentist in between 25 and 35 years. I don't know. And he's younger than me. And he's like, yeah, my eyes all red, but I was washed out my eyes and stuff. And I was like, wet cement in the eye. Yeah. I did have my foster brother cocked himself in the eye. Now, he wasn't trying to form self-fellatio, and he is not enormously hung. He just had a caulking gun, and it wasn't working right. So he turned around and he looked inside of it and pushed the handle and shot cock into his eye. He shot caulking compound into his eye. And his eye, boy, it swelled up horrible, man. It was a nightmare. But yeah, he cocked himself in the eye. I don't know what the temperature was, or I could have maybe even said he cold cocked himself. But it wasn't in the basement. It was in the basement, if I remember correctly. But anyways, I'm just on here to amuse myself. Um, because, and excuse me if the microphone picked that up. Um, I mean, I'm as good as I can be considering, the anxiety and the fact that I'm not built up like I was. Like I was built up. Like I was roughing up dudes for crying out loud, you know, and picking up scooters and doing all kind of things, and before um, before I had the heart thing, so that wipes you out, man. I'm not built up yet, so it's like that's why I don't feel ready. I don't feel strong yet. Like today, what I did is I picked up all the cat cans because I was just like feeding that stupid, obnoxious, feisty cat, and like just throwing his cans in a corner. And apparently, the roach problem is minimal here, and I will show you the product maybe that I used. That is, it's the product to use if you ever have a roach problem. I mean, I was told it was expensive though, but I don't know what it's called. But maybe I'll look that up for somebody. That might be a helpful piece of information. Doubtful, since like 6 people watch this. Uh, but um, so I did that. I cut up. There's tons of boxes around here, so I cut up all the cardboard and I wrapped it up in duct tape, and I cut it all up with this handy dandy X-Acto knife. My handyman brother insisted I have, which it is pretty damn cool. And so I did that. What else did I do? I walked around for 25 minutes with my cane and did a cardio. And so, I'm pretty wiped, pretty tired physically. My legs are barking at me some, but whatever. Um, Tomorrow, shit, man, I don't even care if I wear dirty clothes, but I always like to, you gotta have some pride. So I always like to groom, shave and get myself clean because, I sure as hell ain't no beauty. And, yeah, I'm, not in the running for best skin in the world either. And they got the bright lights beaming down on you, and you're not in an attractive pose anyway when they're ripping teeth out of your head, or even when you're getting your teeth checked and whatever, and they got all that bright light on you. But I always, I'm always like polite to medical people and make sure I'm clean. So, gotta have my shower, gotta have my shave and my face scrub, and um, I don't know what clothes I gotta wash, but that's probably all I gotta do tomorrow and try to keep my sanity. And try to be like, nothing bad's gonna happen. You're not gonna have a heart episode. You know, you're not gonna have excessive bleeding. You're not gonna have, your teeth aren't gonna break up, and they're not gonna have to pick out little shards, and you're not gonna be in a chair for hours and hours. All things which have happened to me before, where extractions have not gone all that well. I gotta have four of them all right in a row, which I never had more than one extraction at a time, ever, like I said, except for my wisdom teeth when I was young. And boy, being young is something special, man. You know, it's small wonder young people don't listen to old people, is because, man, you feel like you're Superman when you're young. And, yeah, what a difference. I mean, what a difference in just being strong like I was, and capable and fearsome. And now I'm still somewhat fearsome. That's it. I don't have no capability or no strength. I have an inner chi, maybe. You know that. Yeah. I figured out I could sing a little bit if I just accept. You know, if I get comfortable and accept my voice for what it is, and my limited range. Uh, you know, I was surprised I could sing and not totally be like, ugh, like it not total ear pain. I was like, huh, how'd that happen? Because I'll always be trying to sing along with people that are like sometimes close to a full octave higher in pitch than me, and not be able to do it and be like, oh, I can't sing. No, you just can't sing like that guy. Just goes to show you, man, you gotta be yourself and do your own thing. It's like some of the first stuff I started to write, and they, experts say that is like every writer goes through a phase where he's doing an imitation of somebody. So I was doing imitations of other people before I found my own voice, you know. And not to make a pun or anything, but that's literally what writers go through. It's like my guy was Robert B. Parker. The first one, the short story I wrote was like, and Robert B. Parker's voice. The guy who wrote the Spencer for Hire uh, novels. Um, I usually can find something to talk about. I seem a little bit hyper, you know. Um, I didn't eat much today. A very important thing is like I did manage a successful bathroom trip. Man, I do hate talking about that stuff, but you know, and it seems like the older you get, the more important that stuff is. You take it's just more stuff you take for granted when you're younger. You don't even think about it. But that was very important, because, like I said, very soon I'm going to be in a chair, bombed out of my skull, shot up with God knows how many shots of Novocaine and whatever else they give you. Because sometimes they give you other stuff besides Novocaine. Like when they gave something else to my brother-in-law when they pulled all of his teeth, um, because it was such a severe thing. I don't know if they'll do that with me or not. They'll probably just shoot me up full of Novocaine. But then you wait in horror as the Novocaine wears off. But I got some opioids here because I guess tramadol on the side of the bottle says opioid, and codeine's an opioid. I took a codeine last night because I thought I was going to get more tramadol than what I got, and it worked pretty good as far as wiping out the tooth pain. And I watched a very unique thing happen, which is I've watched football. I swear to God, the first game I remember watching and really understanding was the 1977 Super Bowl between the Cowboys and the Broncos. And I've never, ever seen this on a football field. But I saw it for the first time in the New England and the Cleveland Browns game. And, you know, New England was vulnerable in that game. It's like we, we, the Browns, were shredding them on the ground. And we were managing minor success through the air, but we were shredding them on the ground. And um, but this is a play that I've never seen happen in, let's see, 1977, 19, what is that, 42 years? Could that be possible? 42 years I've never seen this watching football. And I used to even watch college football a lot until, for some reason I just didn't like college football anymore. But Nick Chubb for the Browns, he gets his first handoff of the game. Okay? A guy named Joe Bitonio is blocking for him, wearing the same colored jersey that he's wearing, his teammate. Well, his teammate falls down over a pile of people. He somehow flips his legs up in the air and kicks the ball out of his own running back's hands. New England gets the ball and runs it back for a touchdown and 7 points. I think it was 10-0 at that point. And I'm like, what did I just see? And they're like, oh, he fumbled the ball. And it's like, no, he didn't fumble the ball. His own teammate, Bruce Lee'd the ball out of his freaking hands. Now, the other fumble that Nick Chubb did, who's quickly becoming my favorite player, and I have like, I don't want to say how many hundreds of dollars worth of cards of his that I have, but he breaks away and he's on like the 15-yard line, and his peripheral vision should have told him that this guy had an angle on him, but he's running and he doesn't do the two-hand cover up. Like, I'm satisfied with my long 40 to 50 to 60 yard run or whatever. He just keeps carrying it like this. And the guy from New England, he flies in there perfectly, and Chubb is, he's built like a brick shithouse. Powerful dude. And he just flies in there and perfectly punches the ball out of Chubb's hands. Now, Chubb still got credit for, I think they made it a 43-yard run or something like that. But all he was seeing was that end zone, and it's like, you couldn't have missed that guy out of his peripheral vision. He was just like, I'm taking this motherfucker with me because he'll do that. You hit that guy when he's got a full head of steam. You're going another 5 to 10 yards unless you're a big dude. If you're not hitting him, if you're not hitting that dude head on, he had the most yards after contact of any player last year. So they're like, oh, he fumbled again. But again, it's pouring down rain. It's just a freakish, brilliant play. But, I mean, I don't know if you can. I don't really know enough about football if you can really expect the guy to, like, do the two-hand Larry Zonka cover up, when he sees the guy coming like that. I mean, what is the odds that the guy is going to get in there and punch the ball out of your hand just perfectly? And I mean, it was a Marvin Hagler, it's opposite of an uppercut, man, just bam. So, um, yeah, that game was not a lot of fun for me to watch. I mean, it was 17-0 against the best defense in the world in 3 turnovers by the Browns in the first half. And it's like the team was vulnerable. They were clearly vulnerable. Nick Chubb ended up with 135 rushing yards. Very good for my stash of autographed rookie cards. And uh, they were also making some headway through the air. They had a touchdown pass. And, I mean, they were, before, in the first half, they were frustrating Brady by forcing him out of the pocket, and he would just throw the ball away and count on that monster defense to take care of business. Especially once the Browns gave him that lead. Really, act of God gave him that lead because, you know, the guy's own offensive lineman kicked the ball out of the running back's hand, like uh, a scene from an old movie called Billy Jack, where he was like, "Hold this apple in your hand," and he kicks the apple out of the guy's hand with a spinning back kick. It was crazy. Like, I've never seen nothing like that. And when I saw that, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna lose." I was like, "There's no hope at all." I didn't have much hope anyway. It's the New England Patriots, and they're playing them in Foxborough or Gillette Stadium now that everything has to be corporate. Uh, where they almost never lose, and they're an undefeated team, and the Browns are sloppy as fuck. But I mean, come on now, it was just crazy. Um, anyways, yeah, I'm sure that was just fascinating to all you non-football fans out there. But yeah, it was like just something I've never seen before, and it's like it's just so indicative of the Brown season of shooting themselves in the foot. This time they shot themselves with a foot. They're just a sloppy, undisciplined team that implodes, and it it's it's crazy. I did a little research on it, and Bill Belichick actually spent 6 years as a defensive coordinator and won 2 championship rings with the Lawrence Taylor backed Giants defense. And then he got his first coaching job in 1991 with the Cleveland Browns. That was his first time he got to be a head coach. That's after winning 2 Super Bowl titles and 6 years as a defensive coordinator. This knucklehead named Freddie Kitchens that they got for the Browns, 8 months as an offensive coordinator. You compare that, 6 years, 2 Super Bowl rings, to 8 games, 8 games as an offensive coordinator, and I think they won 6 of them. I don't know. They almost made the playoffs last year. That's what got everybody all excited, because then they started making improvements to the team. They got Kareem Hunt for a song. And, they got the John Dorsey guy there who built the Chiefs and drafted Patrick Mahomes, who won the MVP, and everybody's all excited and everything. And then I don't know if it was Dorsey or what knucklehead decided that, well, they got such a good chemistry built up, let's make the offensive coordinator uh, Baker Fake Maker Fake Fields Baker Fake Fields uh, coach. Let's make him the head coach. When that dude don't have a fucking clue, man. He's like challenging plays that clearly never get overturned, using up timeouts that they could use later by wasting those challenges. Then he doesn't have a challenge when he needs a challenge. It's like he got no clue on how to manage a game. I mean, it's a nightmare to watch. It's horrible, and it's like, oh, I invested like I come up with this also. I told you about this before, but I come up with this brilliant idea. There's a guy named Brashad Perriman. He had like a tragic backstory. His best friend got killed in a dirt bike accident, and he got a bad injury and was treated horribly by the Ravens fans. And then his father had a stroke or a heart attack and almost died. And, had all this bad stuff happen to him. But the guy actually ran a faster 40 in college than Deion Sanders or Randy Moss. And I'm like, he had his first success with the Browns. And they accused him as Mr. Dropsies. For the Ravens, and they were disappointed with him because he was their first round pick, and they expected better things out of him or whatever. Meanwhile, he's got all this personal turmoil in his life and stuff. So I was like, watched him last year, and I'm like, wow, this guy, he's only been with the team for like 9 games, but nobody can keep up with this guy. He's their big play threat. And he's a big body. He's not like Odell Beckham. He's not like a little midget. I mean, I'm taller than Odell Beckham. I probably weigh more than Odell Beckham. And Jarvis Landry and them guys are right around what they weigh. And this guy's a big bodied, like he's like 6'2" and over 200 pounds, and big physical guy. Can go up, and he was going up last year and getting 50-50 balls, they call them now, contested balls and stuff. So I'm like, I bought like at least $300 worth of his cards because you could get them so cheap. And then his agent has him go to the Buccaneers. And I'm like, it doesn't really matter now. Well, it does actually matter now because the Browns could still win their division. Even though they're 3 games behind in the standings, they get to play the Ravens again. They haven't lost to a division opponent. And the Ravens' schedule is brutal, while they have the second easiest schedule. But this Brashad Perriman guy, he's playing on the Bucks. Like, why would you go and play for the Bucks for the same amount of money and the same exact contract that you got offered in Cleveland when the only success you've ever had is in Cleveland? I don't know what his function is on the Buccaneers. I watched the Buccaneers games, and they got 2 of the best receivers in the league in Mike Evans and this guy named Godwin. And it's like if he left Cleveland because he didn't want to be, he wanted more touches, he went to the wrong damn team. And plus, their quarterback there doesn't have a big enough arm for him because he just blows by everybody. I mean, he is fast. He had like a MCL thing with his knee, that was also part of his tragic backstory of, his friend dying and his father having a stroke, and how badly he was treated by the Baltimore Ravens fans and all this crap. Just more football nonsense. Maybe I'll just label this football nonsense because that's mostly what it is. And yeah, this guy keeps this computer now has the annoying habit of popping up the same message over and over again. It's like, okay, maybe if I close it, it won't do it again. Stop that. But yeah, that's another thing about like being trapped in like a ruined body is like some days you'll get like energy like this, and what the fuck do you do with it? You know. So, anyways, um, yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do whatever it takes. I just got some advice there, but I'm gonna do whatever it takes to get me through. What's gonna happen to me. And believe me, this a friend of mine just said, "Don't." That was the pop up message. He was like, "Don't do Xanax," is what I was reading there. And I'm like, "Fuck no, I don't want to go back and do any Xanax." It's like, I took 1/2 milligram pill of Xanax before I went into the dentist because I thought they were going to do a procedure on my face that day, you know, and I just I got stressed because I just had a heart episode. I still have a weak heart. I don't have my wind build up yet. I don't, I'm not going back here, believe me. You don't got to worry about that. You know, Xanax is the devil. I, if I have to, like I just ate 3 Valium, I'll go there. But I'm going to do what I have to do to survive. If the opioids that I got don't do the trick and I'm in a lot of pain or whatever, what I'll probably do is I'll probably mix the opioids with one Valium and just hope to sleep off the pain of it. It's probably what I'm going to do as far as the dentist thing. Sorry about talking so much football, but it's just funny that everything's turning up roses. Nothing. Everything's turning up thorns, man, and thistles and briars. As far as like how that worked out, except for the Chubb guy is a monster. I mean, he's an awesome running back. Yes, he fumbled 3 times this year. He didn't fumble at all last year, but the one fumble was just a fluke. The other fumble was a savage punch coming from the side on a day when it was just downpouring rain. So I don't think he's going to have a problem with fumbling. But he's just a beast. So, I did not waste my money on those cards at least. Baker Mayfield cards, they were too expensive, so I didn't waste a lot of money on Baker Mayfield cards. Except for I did buy um, for like $73 to $75 a set of like 4 rookie jersey cards that I thought would be a good deal. And the David Njoku cards. I can't remember how to say the guy's name, but I used to do the Steve Miller thing whenever he catch a ball and be like, some people call him the Joku, some people call him the gangster of love. But anyways, that guy got hurt like right off the bat. But they have these cards where they have a jersey of Chubb, they have a jersey of Baker Mayfield, and they have a jersey of Njoku. And I had one that was numbered to 25. I have 2 of them that are numbered to just 49 in the world. You know, but that doesn't mean like I can't hold on to them and do something with them next season. You know, but no, I don't want to go back down that Xanax road, man. That was not a forgettable experience. Okay, that stuff was brutal to get off of. Um, and it took a while, even, it wasn't as hard as I expected to transfer from Xanax to Valium. I did not have to take the ridiculous amounts of pills. You want to talk about the three that I popped right now for my teeth? They wanted me to take like 70 milligrams, which is 7 of those fucking pills a day when I was starting out switching. I'm like, not happening. It's not happening, dude. You know. So I've never. Yeah, this is like the first time I took 30 milligrams of um, Valium at once. Um, yeah, it's the first time I've tried that. I'm hoping. Yeah, I got some pain, and I'm hoping I can get the rest that I need. I'm hoping I don't have to take the opioids, and I can save them for just in case these dentists don't give me any decent pain medication, which is a possibility. Which I guess in Florida at the time when my cousin, the guy who ridiculously beat me at the tooth game, when he doesn't go to the dentist for 30 years, and I went to the dentist like hundreds of times in those 30 years. It's just genetics. Just roll the dice, probably. Um, or maybe he didn't have enough food to eat to mess his teeth up. I don't know. Because, anyways, that's a whole nother story. But they gave him nothing. He just went back and he's alcoholic. So that was his painkiller of choice. I don't know if he was on the beer diet then or he was still drinking Canadian Mist whiskey. When I went down there in the 90s, they were drinking Canadian Mist. And when I went there for a wedding, I don't remember what year that was. It was after 9/11. So it was like 2002. Um, yeah, I don't remember when he made the decision to switch from. That was the compromise that he made, was to switch from hard liquor to just beer, still alcohol. But who am I to criticize? I mean, Valium is still a benzo. But yeah, eh, I don't know. I guess I don't really have that much to talk about. I just the passivity, it just gets boring, and I don't have, like, I have my books I can read for my audiobooks, but I don't have the patience or the nerves to do a good job on those anyway. The one book is actually done, and I could just like put it up, and as far as I'm concerned, it's fascinating, but um, it's just not. There's just, like I said, the one chapter of it's not read well, and I just wanted to reread the one chapter of it. But it's done. But you know, I ain't messing with the George Orwell book. I'm not doing nothing now. I don't know, if losing that many teeth, if that um, changes your voice, or what that does to your voice. I don't know. Those old blues singers sound pretty good, and they didn't have the best dental care either. So, hey, Mississippi John Hurt, love that guy, man. When I hear that guy play guitar, man, it's just like a warm hug. And he don't sing too bad neither. Um, but I heard his family was talking about him, and they were like, he would just, that's how he dealt with his issues and his anger and everything, is he'd just go off and play his guitar and work it out on his guitar. But yeah, I can tell his playing, guitar playing, I mean, it's just so distinctive. It's like within a couple of bars. I was like, Mississippi John Hurt. There's something about it that's different. Um, he's just one of them guys also that they didn't record him until he was almost dead. You know, there's even he's having trouble breathing because of COPD and the tobacco demon probably, but you know he's actually having trouble breathing when he's singing this one song. I think it's called "Blind Man Sitting in the Middle of the Road," and I'd sing part of it for you if I could remember it. Maybe I'll post a link to it. But he's actually having trouble breathing, and it sounds like he's getting emotional, but it's really he's having trouble breathing. You know, because he's very old at that point. And he's just one of them guys that was just not discovered. You know, he didn't have a lot of ambition. A lot of people aren't cursed with ambition, so who knows? But yeah, that's the last thing I need is to go back and backslide into a Xanax pit and then have to work my way back out of it. But I'll do what I have to do to survive. You know, and if that means like taking one before I go, and having one in my pocket when I'm in the dentist chair, and you know, feeling myself freak out and dry swallowing it like I did when I was on it months and months ago. Um, shit, working on a year ago. I mean, I'll do it. If I come home and I'm in such severe pain that the volume is not cutting it, I'll do it. I have to do what I gotta do to survive. I mean, it's different when it's just, you just have like the tooth thing. You pile on all these other things that I got, and yeah, it's overwhelming. And yeah, I'm just kind of looking forward to being just getting it over with. I mean, who knows how long that'll take? Who knows if they'll come out clean? Who knows if they'll break? I mean, this one looks like it's poised to break. These ones look weird. I mean, I don't even know how to describe them, but they were. I don't know where they got the money for it. I think they actually cheated the government or something, because they put like beautiful white caps on them like a long time ago. Um, or I think they called them crowns, but they were like usually they would only put like metal. You couldn't get the porcelain crowns, but I think there were two porcelain crowns on top of there. But they all look like they're gonna break. You know, all my teeth look like they're gonna break. I think it's just part of the CRPS. Um, I don't know. Uh, Wish I could find something interesting to talk about, but my mind doesn't always work that way. Um, I'm highly keyed up and nervous, and the volume should be kicking in by now, and it is not. I got up at 8 o'clock this morning. It's 9:21, so it is kind of early for me to be sleepy. I just want to be calm, you know. Yeah, I threw the cat out early today because Um, he was just wasting his food. I think I might have put him off his food. Maybe I shouldn't do that because I'll put his food down and then I'll go and open the window. And as soon as I open the window, he knows I'm going to chase him out of the house with the broom and chase him out the window. So I should. But if you're a nice guy, he might find a place to hide. He's fooled me a couple of times where I thought he went out the window on his own, but he didn't. Because, they're not, cats are not stupid animals. They figure these things out. The other cat was much smarter than the white cat was much smarter than the black cat. And he was impossible. I literally had to pick him up bodily and push him through the window. It's the only way to get him to go through the window, man. It was like some kind of weird game of like hockey with him, where I'd take the broom and I would try to stop him. I'd run back and forth, and I would play goalie, trying to stop him from getting past certain sections of the room, and keeping him on the side with the window. And then I figured out like this is some kind of stupid game. I was like, here's how this has to be done. Here, kitty, come here. Here. You want this? You want some treats? And yet you have to use treachery, subterfuge, and then pick him up. And then while you got him picked up, and you start walking to the window, and then he realizes that you're gonna force him outside. And then if he starts to struggle, then you have to be careful that he doesn't hurt you, and then you push him out the window. But yeah, um, I would hate having to take care of a dog. I mean, cat's a pain in the ass enough, and you don't have. They go in litter boxes, and you know they're standoffish a little bit. I think that's what people find off-putting about them, but that's what I like about them. Is I don't like. There are cats that are like, I want to sit on your lap all day. You're my buddy. Uh, yeah, I'm not fond of those type of cats. It's like, I probably wouldn't like a clingy girlfriend either. But yeah, this cat, like that one day when I headbutted him and I had a fight with him, which was funny because I hissed at him and I saw fear in his eyes. That was weird. And then he was like, he recovered from the fear and shit, and it's like, I reached for him, and then he like hissed at me all over again. I'm like, I headbutted him, and he hissed at me again. I'm like, okay, dude, you can stay in the room, and he just wanted to lay in the bed beside my feet, but I didn't want him in here. I already talked about that. That was funny that I hissed at him, and he had a momentary fear. I could see the fear in his eyes. Like, you know, is this motherfucker gonna take it to an animal level and bite me with his four remaining teeth or what? I never saw that before. I never like growled or barked at a dog and saw a dog like with that animal fear in his eyes, like I've yelled at dogs and scared them and shit, and yelled dogs out of people's yards and stuff, but I never like that cat was like, what? He was afraid for a second. That was funny. But he got over it pretty quick, man. He was like, you want to fight? We'll fight. It's like, dude, you weigh 10 pounds. You're not even a big cat. You're being ridiculous. It's like, they're incredibly powerful animals. It's like, if he weighed 20 pounds, I would not want to fuck with him. They're unbelievably strong animals. Even a 10-pound, 12-pound, 15-pound cat. It's like, I remember trying to pry him out of the window that one day so I could close the window because it was cold, and just marveling at how powerful he was. And he's nothing but muscle. But I don't really have nothing interesting to talk about. Um, this is um, definitely been a waste of your time. Um, I'm not drowsy. I'm all hypered up. Oh, I know what I could have done is I have these cards floating loose, and I freed up these top loaders. I could have done that. I'm starting to feel a little bit of the effects of the Valium I took now, though. Damn it! And I don't really want to do that anyway. That takes like you have to be careful handling the cards, and you got to slide them in a little sleeve, and then you got to put them in a plastic holder and all that. I don't want to do that. But yeah, um, this has definitely been one of my poorer videos. So I don't know. I'll try to think of something to call this, but not an interesting video at all. I'm hyper, and I don't know why I'm hyper. I ate. Only thing I ate today was some Raisin Nut Bran cereal and some bagels, two bagels and some cream cheese. So I don't eat, generally speaking. I'm not a big fan of eating, so I generally don't eat unless my belly tells me to. I don't eat for amusement or entertainment or anything like that. Though I used to like potato chips. I used to be fond of like sour cream and onion potato chips and things like cheese popcorn, that kind of eating. But only not only like occasionally. So not the kind of guy that gets all gets half a chub over like the idea of Thanksgiving dinner or anything like that. Oh man. Hmm. Not sure what to do with myself now. But yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to make that clear because it sounds like, to me anyway, it sounds like I'm being whiny about the teeth thing, where they're ripping out the four teeth in a row. You know, considering the things that I've been through and all, but mostly it's about not knowing how my heart's gonna react to it, not trusting my heart yet because it hasn't even been. Uh, let's see, 16th to the 30th. That's exactly a month. And wait a minute, my math is horrible. You know this. Yeah, that's exactly a month and 2 weeks since I got released from the hospital from a pretty nasty case of AFib and a pretty nasty treatment schedule they had me in there, where they had me pumped full of all kind of drugs, including fentanyl, which was one of the worst drugs imaginable. It's one of the most dangerous street drugs out there. And they spiked different drugs with that, and there's been a lot of people killed buying fake Xanax off the street. And they even, if you look it up, you can even look it up like, this is what the fake Xanax looks like, and they spike it with fentanyl to get that narcotic effect, and it ends up killing people. So it's a very uh, they pumped me full like 5 ampules of that shit mixed with some other stuff, and that's where like I'm on there, and I got my camera, and I made my hospital video, and I'm like, I'm high as shit. As they pumped me full of that stuff before they did the alien face hugger test on me. This is all repeats though, so um, yeah, yeah. I find this boring, fatuous, and not respective of my audience, since most of you are not probably not that interested in NFL football and probably not that interested in the Browns, and certainly not interested in my poor business decisions on buying cards. The Brashard Perryman thing I thought was a damn lock. I was like, that's the only NFL team he had success with. The guy can outrun everybody. He's a big, huge dude. He gets those 50-50 contested balls. I can get all manner of his cards, low numbers, like all under $10. So anywhere from 3, 4, 5 up to $10. As low numbered as there's only 10 of them in the world. And I would only buy autograph rookie cards, and I bought a big stack of refractor rookie cards too. And I'm like man, this guy is going to be a stud for the Browns. And it turns out that the way OBJ is fit in with the Browns, Odell Beckham Jr., they would have been better off signing Perryman for the $4 million instead of paying that huge salary to Beckham. And the only argument you can use against that is, well, Beckham makes a great decoy. Another thing I've noticed about him is they expect him to catch everything. Because he turned around and a ball hit him like right here in the arm, and they're like that's a drop. And I'm like, how can it be a drop if he don't even have his hands on the ball? You know, if the ball's in anywhere near him, he's supposed to catch it because he's Odell Beckham by God Jr. But yeah, I'm just blathering on to be blathering on. So I'm gonna get off of here and try to calm down. I don't know why I'm all manicky and full of energy. And the problem is I'm all manicky and full of energy and have nothing interesting to talk about. That is a problem. I am right now a 14-year-old girl walking home from school and just blah, 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 blah about nothing. That's one thing. It's like that always kept me from being a creep. Is like those 16-year-old girls, they still look pretty damn good when you're in your 30s. But once you hear the blah 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 million miles an hour, you know what Susan said. Susan said this about but that Ken he's about to blah blah blah. It's like, yeah. Then you're like, okay, this is a kid with a woman's body. And I could not stand her for 2 seconds. And and then you don't even then like with me, it's like unless they were like absolutely spectacular, I'd be like not even wanting to look at them after that, after hearing them talk. Now something happened. This is sort of interesting, but doesn't make me look particularly good. But my excuse is I wear bifocals and I have bad vision. But I'm sitting out on the porch during the summer with this war vet, and this girl walks by, spectacular looking, obviously young, but I don't know how young. And all I see is like booty shorts, and you know, let's say without being gross, let's just say a healthy young woman. That's all I'm seeing. I mean, I likes me a woman with some curves, and so that's all I'm seeing. So we're smoking cigarettes, which is of course part of the problem with hanging around with that guy and what got me in the hospital on September 12th. But she's like, "You got a cigarette?" And I'm like, "I'm sorry, these are the last two." And I was like, I would have gave her a cigarette, man. You see those shorts? And he looked at me like real disapprovingly with his 20/20 vision and was like, "That girl was like 15 years old, dude." And I'm like, "Hey, I can't. My eyesight is not that good, okay?" she was walking like on our side of the road and stuff like that. But anyways, some cop heard her asking us for cigarettes and picked her up and gave her a talking to. And then the neighbor guy came over and said, hey, yeah, do you see him pick up that teenage girl? And yeah, all they did was like drive around the block and then drop her off somewhere. They gave her like a talking to or something. And it's like, I'm glad I didn't have an extra cigarette or I would have got my ass in trouble that day. For sure. Or maybe she would have got I don't think I would have asked her how old she was. That's I come from a different time, man. I come from a time where I was like 10 years old and you could go up to a vending machine, put your 55 cents in, and pull on this lever and get you a pack of Marlboros at 10 years old. So, different time, different, attitudes about smoking. Smoking is, of course, an evil thing, and it's a good thing that attitudes have changed about it. But, you know, I'm still like, it was just, like I said, I wouldn't have said, how old are you anyway? Let me see some ID before I hand over this cigarette to you. I was like, no, here you go, hon. Here's a cigarette. And then probably tried to look down the front of her shirt like an old pervert. Not even thinking anything about it. I'm probably not being able to see anything anyway because I can't see for shit. I'm way overdue for an eye exam. I got these bifocals, which, make it look like there's water on my glasses all the time. So, yeah, I just remember the war vet, the guy who, set somebody's hair on fire when they were sleeping and punched women and stole money off of me in front of me and punches holes in tables and is just generally a bad person that's looking at me like so disapprovingly, like, you horrible, horrible person. That girl can't, that girl's 15 tops, or whatever he said. It's like, I thought about that. It's like, all right, man, you have an interesting value system, son. Okay, that's just a bunch of energy burn off for no reason. So, I don't. I'll put it. I'll put it in the title that this is a whole lot of nothing. This is just me wasting time. I'll even just call it that, me wasting time. So tomorrow, tomorrow is the real test. Uh, I've been lucky so far. I've been spared. I've just been having massive anxiety. I've been spared true horrific tooth pain, and it has been getting progressively worse. But I mean, real honest to God, like, just fucking kill me, ice bag on the face, type swollen jaw, abscess, nasty, horrible pain. So in that sense, I've been lucky. I'm just, like I said, sweating it because of the heart thing. And as usual, redundant as a motherfucker. That's me all over. So even in my goodbyes, am I redundant? I just cannot help it. But anyways, until next time. Bye bye.